Hello there. Thank you for clicking on this video. This is just going to be a video of me reading through the syllabus. So I'm going to flip the camera around to my screen where I'll be sharing the syllabus as I talk. Okay, I'm actually going to go in through the math course here. I'm on the math course homepage. This is the announcement for the first week of school. And I'm going to click into our 6th grade math OneNote. Down here on the Start Here tab, there's a copy of the syllabus right here, along with the recording of the summary of the math orientation. I think I'll put a link to the video I'm making right now here in this same spot in the OneNote. But this is just going to be me reading the syllabus aloud, in case you don't want to read it yourself. I went through a lot of it I went over a lot of it in the orientation. So hopefully you know by now I'm Mr. Payton. I'm your math teacher. This is my phone number and my email address here in the syllabus. Course supplies. The OneNote itself. This is where we put all the class recordings, slides we used in class, questions and answers on those slides, extra resources like Khan Academy links, everything that I could think of to give you extra help with the lessons is in the OneNote. And you can see the OneNote here, Unit 3 decimals. This is where I'm going to put all the info for the first decimals lesson we're doing on Monday, August 31st. There's nothing here now, but so far I got some stuff on how to do stuff, math reference guide, orientation stuff, syllabus stuff. Okay, so you'll need a math notebook. That's just a pad, a notepad. It could be scratch paper in a 3-ring binder, just something to take notes on as we're going through the lessons in the Class Connect. You could take notes on your own as you're doing your independent lesson work as well. You're just really going to remember stuff better if you're taking some hand-done notes for every class. A math folder on your computer. Right-click on your computer background to create a math folder. And this is where you could save PDF copies of lesson slides, anything you want to save from the classes, or the Part 2 assignments for the unit tests. The math reference guide, that's the book that came with this course. Have that handy. It summarizes all the topics we're learning this year. It has examples in it and everything. There's an online version of that as well. I got it linked in the OneNote, but it's also like if you go to your course resources folder, here on my math course homepage, it's going to show a lot more than you can see right now. But the course resources folder has a copy of another link to the OneNote, a copy to the reference guide, a link to the syllabus. I try to put things in multiple places for you guys here. A calculator. I have a link to the calculator, the handheld calculator that I recommend right there. I think it's an Amazon link. But we use this online calculator a lot, and there's a calculator that comes up within the lessons themselves. This is a live link from the syllabus, brings you to the Desmos calculator. So we'll do some stuff with the calculator, some stuff without. For the state test, you have 2 sections this year, a calculator section and a non-calculator section. So, daily student responsibilities. Log into the course daily. There'll usually be a lesson to work through, practice questions at the end of the lesson, and a short graded quiz, 5 questions. Just do whatever's on your My Schedule page. All pages of the lesson must be viewed from the student account in order to get access to the quiz. The quiz will not show up unless all pages get checked off. The Class Connects. Attend them. They're required. They're Monday through Thursday from 9 to 10:30. Here we work on whatever lesson's on your plan that day. We discuss it, practice, explain, look at it from a different perspective. Just anything to help reinforce that lesson. There's no morning Class Connect on Fridays, but I do have a math zone scheduled on Fridays, an optional class for you to join if you'd like. But you will have stuff to do every school day. Just check the My Schedule page. Sometimes it's like a catch-up day for math. Sometimes it's an actual regular math lesson that you need to work through on your own. And on those days, I usually make a help video and also post it to the My Schedule page. Be on time. After a couple weeks, probably we'll wait a little while to start this, but we usually lock the class after 25 minutes so that you can't come extremely late because some of the most important stuff in class is in the first half hour. Take the lesson quiz by the end of the day they're assigned. Use a lesson, and if that lesson has a quiz, it'll be due at the end of the same day. And it's best to do the lesson pages, come to the class connect, and try the quiz all on the same day. Quizzes won't be visible unless you've clicked through the lesson pages. And this is really important. You need to get a 60% or better. That's 3 out of 5 or better on all of your quizzes in each unit in order to have access to the unit test. So here's a screenshot of what it looks like on your My Schedule page, like a typical lesson. It's our first lesson, add decimals, and you can see it says assessment, but there's nothing there at first. That assessment, that's the quiz. It'll show up once you get all the pages done and checked off, and then you can see the quiz. Quizzes can be retried up to 3 times, and I'm able to add retries to that if necessary. And after each attempt, you can review. You can review your missed answers from the quiz. It'll show you what you got wrong and what the right answers were for those questions. And when you retry, it'll mix up the questions a little bit. You won't get the same questions every try. Quizzes and tests are all open book. That means you can use your hand-done notes. You can use the math reference guide, lesson slides, recordings, and anything else that I have in the 6th grade Math OneNote to help with that lesson. So don't ever just take blind guesses with your quizzes. If you're stuck on something, go back to the lesson pages and study. Okay. You may click the review button at the end of the quiz, see what you got wrong, what you got right. It'll show the correct answers for the ones you missed. I think I mentioned that up here. If you attend the class connect, which you should, and if you fully understood the lesson, you really may not need to spend a ton of time in certain parts of the lesson, like the learn section. That's what we go over in the class connect. If you know what you're doing, you still have to click through the pages. And I would normally never say skip things in the lesson. But if you come out of the class connect fully confident, getting all the questions right in the class connect, let's say you get the success ticket question right in the class connect, and you go into the online lesson pages, you're going to see some similar examples and maybe even some of the exact same examples we looked at in class. You can just click forward through those and move on if you don't need to study them again. I don't want you to waste your time with these lessons, but on the other hand, everybody still should go through every page of the lesson, and everybody should spend a good amount of time in this practice section. This is where you get to do some problems on your own and check your answers with the computer before moving on to the quiz. And again, the quiz will be invisible until all pages of the lesson have been viewed. How do you know you're completing lessons properly? Well, look for the check marks. If you navigate back into the lesson pages through the content link, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to browse around all the lessons that I have open to see what you have done, what's checked off, and what's not checked off. Here on my screen here, you see these numbers. In the teacher account, I am unable to get them checked off. But like when you guys work through these things on your own, those numbers will count down basically. Like in the course introduction here, for you, you'll see little dots there, and when you get them done, they'll turn into check marks. For me, they always just sort of remain like this. And we went over that in the orientation. So now, what do you do if you try a quiz 3 times and still didn't pass? Well, first of all, reach out to me, email me. I'm always willing to give you an extra try. And if you need anything more than an extra try, I want to work with you in a small group or a Math Zone Class Connect. But you may also do corrections to your missed questions. If you can fully show your work and explain how you solved the problem you missed, you can do it through a Word document and email it to me. Just navigate back to your quiz through the course content link. Copy and paste or use the snipping tool program to take a screenshot of the question you missed. Now, since the computer will show you what the right answer is, you can't just give me the right answer and say, hey, now it's corrected. You have to show me how you arrived at that answer. You have to show your work and tell me what you did. So it's a lot of work to correct questions, but if you're willing to put in that work, you could correct as many of the quiz questions as you'd like. If you get 3 out of 5 on a quiz, you can do 2 corrections and end up with a 5 out of 5. But I will also be inviting students to required small group class connects in the afternoons, usually starting at 3:30, based on failed quiz scores. So if you're stuck on a quiz and I'm checking scores, if you get an invite to one of these classes, you'll get an email at least 24 hours in advance. And if you show up to the class and study with me in there, I will give you at least a passing grade on the quiz and be willing to add retries for you to get a better grade than that. Math zones we could do the same thing in math zones, but they're on your plan as optional class connects. Wednesday at 3:30, Friday at 1. Just come in and have your questions ready. There's no lesson prepared. Mr. Racky and I do not have like a lesson prepared to teach. We're just there for you guys to come with your questions, and we'll work on your questions with you. So check your email often and communicate with me, okay? That's the #1 thing I think here in online school is just having good communication. I'm never going to leave you hanging. If you email me, okay, check your email. I check mine all day long. You can get to it by clicking the little envelope there on the launch page when you log into the online school. Read any announcements I post. I post them every Monday in the math course homepage. So like if you click into the math course and go to the homepage, if you scroll down a little bit, it says class announcements right there. They'll be here. I'm always going to put a link to the OneNote and a little snapshot of what we're doing this week. All those lessons will also be on your My Schedule page. And the OneNote, you could just bookmark it on your web browser and never have to click the link from here again. But checking course announcements every week will make sure you're not overlooking anything. Let's see. And then, yeah, from your My Schedule page, if you just click into the math course itself, that's how you get to this math course homepage. All right. Review the My Schedule page to see what you are to complete that day. And this applies for the other courses as well. All your teachers, the lessons they want you to do each day, they're posted to the My Schedule page. Graded assignments. In math, they're called Part 2 assignments for the unit test. Each unit test has a Part 1 that's computer graded and a Part 2 that's teacher graded. And for these, when we get to the first one, we'll show you exactly what you need to do for these, okay? But they're due at the same time. Get these in on time. Make sure you've completed all the lesson pages for the regular lessons. You'll see check marks for sections of the lessons you viewed, and then little numbers basically indicating unviewed parts of lessons there in the course content link. So if viewing from your math homepage, the best way to double check and see if you're getting done what you're supposed to be getting done is go to the content link and look for the check marks. On the My Schedule page, you can only see one lesson at a time by flipping around to whatever date on My Schedule. And you can see the check marks there as well. They show up as like green check marks. But to get the full picture, and especially as we get going in the year here, I open up one unit at a time, and you'll be able to scroll back into the old units to see what's done and what's not done. You want to look for check marks like this. Sorry, this little error that pops up sometimes. Like the first decimals lesson, this screenshot is a student's content page. This student got every page of that lesson done. That's what you want to look for. I already mentioned a lot of this stuff I repeat a couple times in the syllabus. The math notebook, a paper notebook with a pencil and eraser on your desk. More about how to submit teacher graded assignments, the Part 2s. So the Part 2s of the unit test. You have to have passed all of your quizzes, and you have to have completed the Part 1 in order to even see the Part 2. Then once you click into it, I have a bunch of suggestions on how you can show your work. It's a PDF or a Word file. If you want to print it out and do it by hand, the PDF will work for you, but most of you guys will want to use the Word document. Your OHVA accounts, you have Office 365, you should have Microsoft Word available on your computer. You can even download that onto a different computer because it's sort of like a virtual account. There's a lot of different ways you can show your work on the Part 2 assignment. You could print off the document, do it by hand, and scan it back into your computer. Then you submit it to what we call a Dropbox or a submission folder within the math course. So everybody should have a printer and a scanner, but if you have a cell phone that takes pictures, the cell phone could basically be used as a scanner. Have your learning coach take a picture of it, make sure I could see everything that's on that page, and then upload it. And let's see, you could do your work by hand on a blank piece of paper and then take a picture of that and then upload that picture, or paste it into the Word document and upload that. If you're using a Microsoft Word doc, some versions have a tab where you can draw on the document itself, but you may not have that ability. You can do scratch work in another program like Paint, Microsoft Paint, and I'll show you how to use that when we get to the first part too. This is what I suggest you do, because you could do your scratch work with like a mouse and then paste that into the Word document. There's a website called PDF Escape that sort of allows you to write. It allows you to scribble and write on a PDF document, and then you could save the new version of it on your computer and upload that. Everybody should have the snipping tool program. If you look in the OneNote here, in the How to Do Stuff section, there's some guidance on how to use the snipping tool. It's a screenshotting tool that allows you to take screenshots. So like if you're doing something in Microsoft Paint, you could use the snipping tool and take a copy of it and put it into the Word document. So there's a lot of different ways you can show your work, and that's the main challenge with the Part 2s, because it's not just answering a math question. You have to explain what you did and show your scratch work. So like I said, I'll give you more guidance on that when we get to the first one. Getting help with classwork. I'll do my best to help you enjoy learning this year, and you can expect this course to be challenging. When you encounter difficulty with the lessons, these are the things you should be doing. First of all, study all the lesson material available. In your regular K-12 lesson pages, there's a lot of info. Then we got the reference guide. Try to model your answers after how the examples are worked out in there. Don't try the quiz until you understand the examples at the end of the lesson. Come to the Math Class Connects. Come to any small group sessions you're invited to. Like I mentioned, they're all based off of quiz scores. So, those are set up if you're having trouble in a quiz. Visit the Math Zone. And I already mentioned this. You could come and you could post the questions you're struggling with in the Math Zone to get extra help. Check the course announcements and check the 6th grade OneNote. Like when we get to that first decimals lesson, you'll see this page. It'll have all the slides we looked at in the Class Connect. It'll have a Khan Academy link to a help video. It'll have the link to this topic in the math reference guide, the virtual version of it. Email me. You can always take a screenshot of a question, use the snipping tool, pop it into an email, say, hey, Mr. Payton, not sure what I did wrong here. I can help you through email. Don't forget about your learning coach. Due dates. This is really important. Quizzes and tests for each unit, they close out 2 weeks after the unit test due date. So you have extra time if you're struggling to pass everything in a unit, but not any more time than 2 weeks. And remember, you have to view all your lesson pages to see the quizzes, and you have to pass all your quizzes to see the unit tests. That's part 1 and part 2 of a unit test. When an assignment or quiz is unlocked, meaning like you can see it, but it's late, you're going to get an overdue notice for it. This appears as like a number next to your My Schedule link on the launch page when you log in. But you don't have access to the quiz unless you've completed the lesson pages. So I have a different kind of overdue notice here, and that's mentioned here. You don't get overdue notices from quizzes or tests that you didn't unlock yet. They create their own overdue notice if it's past the due date and it's visible to you. But if you never unlocked it, you're never going to see that overdue notice. So I create sort of a different one. It just comes up as like a message to you guys saying, hey, you didn't do this lesson and this quiz. Make sure you get all your check marks for this lesson so you can view this quiz. Students with extended time due to an IEP or 504 will not be penalized for taking more time. Overdue quizzes will only be accepted up until 2 weeks after we end any math unit. At that point, we close the unit's graded items. You won't be able to get back into the quizzes or the unit test. You will be able to get back into the lesson pages, just not the quizzes or the unit test. We put in zeros for any quizzes that are overdue every Friday. I update the grade book with zeros. These are usually temporary zeros, and there'll be feedback in the grade book. That's the grades page, which you can get to by clicking grades. There'll be feedback in there explaining, why you have a zero, and it'll turn into your real quiz score once you get that quiz done. Be aware there are no overdue notices for the lessons themselves. This makes it easy to overlook lessons that might not have a quiz at the end. Okay, you got to make sure you're getting all your lesson pages checked off. Learning coaches, at the end of any school day, you could simply go to your students' My Schedule page and click into each of those lessons to see if the lessons are actually properly done. A lot of times, even the best of students will accidentally overlook things. And this is true for, like in other subjects, in other courses, you might have access to the quiz even without doing the lesson pages, and then you're quizzing yourself on something you didn't even study. And that's why in math, we make it so that you have to view your lesson pages to get that quiz to open. And big reminder, students have to use their student login to get check marks for viewing lesson pages. If you're logged into the Learning Coach account and you flip into student view, it gives you like a warning saying that students should not be working on their lessons in this way. That's the way that learning coaches can go in and check work. Learning coaches can go in through student view and click into any page, and it will not give you a check mark. Students have to use their own account. That's the only way you can get the work checked off and get credit for all the hard work you're putting into it. Academic integrity and cheating and plagiarism. If you submit work that's not your own, cheating or plagiarism, you'll get a 0. Open book means you can use your notes, lesson pages, help videos, stuff like that. It does not mean you can just ask somebody else the exact question and copy the answer. Attendance, regular and daily attendance to the class connects and completion of the lessons and any graded quizzes is expected. Some students have altered class connect requirements. Those will be worked out between me and the learning coach. If you must miss a class connect, if you have to miss more than the occasional class connect, you just get with your advocate and me to work something out. If you do, people get sick. I understand you have to miss one here and there. I'll email everybody who misses a class connect right after class with information on how to watch the recording and access the slides and stuff like that, and also to notify you and your learning coach that you missed a required class connect. So if you have to miss more than the occasional class connect, please get with me, all right, communicate with me, and we'll work something out. You should spend about an hour and a half each day doing math work that's in the class connect and all your working through the lesson pages and the quizzes and tests. Most of you guys will have time to work on the lesson pages within the class connect, and then learning coaches are responsible for logging that time. Learning coaches just add up all the time. You have to add up the class connect time plus the regular independent lesson work time on and offline and plug that in at the end of each day. So submitting assignments. The only thing that's teacher graded are those part 2 assignments for the unit tests that I mentioned. And the most important thing with that is getting it uploaded where it belongs. There's a submission folder link right within the unit test there. And there's also a shortcut to get to that through the Tools Assignments menu. And please remember that you can't see that at all until you do part 1 of the unit test. They should be saved in your math folder on your desktop, and you should name the file or files if you're using multiple files. Let's say it spills over to 2 pages and you take a photo of each page, then you'd have 2 files to upload. Save them on your own computer so that you can keep track of things throughout the year. Do not email me the assignments. They have to be submitted into the submission folder. That way I can grade them and give you feedback for them, and they'll be parked there all year long. You can always go back to them and see them. And also, you guys have a chance to revise those. You'll see with those part 2s, if you miss points on them, I'm going to give you feedback, some advice on what you can do to brush up that grade, and you can make up those points. Go to your grades page to check your grades. They're always going to display points earned out of points possible. For example, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 for a quiz. If you have overdue items, the zeros will be put in on Friday. That way your grade is as accurate as possible. The grade is based on points you earn out of the points possible up until the end of the semester. You guys will get you'll get a grade for the first semester and then a grade for the second semester. Then your final grade will add up all those points for both semesters. This is a grading scale. Course activities. This is just some generic information that sort of describes some of the things you'll be doing in the lessons and into the class connects. You know, you might end up listening to recordings. Just gonna skip over that. Graded items. The only thing graded for us will be the online quizzes, online tests, and the part 2 assignments. I added a course outline here to the syllabus. This breaks down every lesson of the semester. We're starting with Unit 3, and then doing Unit 1, then Unit 2, then Unit 4, then Unit 5, then Unit 6, and then Unit 1B. So the order is a little bit wacky, I know, but guys, if you're just logging in every day and doing what's on your My Schedule page and come to the Class Connect, you'll be in good shape. I made some notes here about which lessons have quizzes. A lot of lessons have like a part 1 and a part 2, like when we get to subtract decimals, and then the quiz comes at the end of the part 2. So you can see, you know, not all lessons have quizzes, and I'll tell you that in the Class Connect as well. This lesson has a quiz. This lesson does not have a quiz. And another way you can see that is here on the My Schedule page. Excuse me. On the My Schedule page, where was it? I had a screenshot of it up here. Yeah, like when you click into the first decimals lesson, before you do any pages, you're going to see there's an assessment section there, and then there's no assessment. Where's the assessment? It appears there after you get your check marks. Okay, what else here? I don't want to make this video too long. We got grades, course outline. I think that's pretty much it. If you believe in yourself and put in the hard work needed to meet your goals, you will succeed. We're going to have a good time this year, guys. I know this is a lot of technical information. It might not sound like you're going to have a good time, but Mr. Racky and I and the other teachers, we like to have fun in the math classes. You know, if it's not fun it's fun for us. You know, we want to make it fun for you. We all enjoy teaching, and I really hope you actually enjoyed this class this year and not just learn stuff. So that's it for the syllabus. Please let me know if you have any questions. Email me or call me. And I look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.